All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. This channel's for educational purposes, and we check into great discoveries and concepts and theories that you probably don't know about because they've been suppressed, and there are people out there who are actively trying to prevent you from learning this information. And this is a segment that we have that is called the Q-tip of the spear, and it is for uh, Q followers and anons and diggers and truthers out there um, who just want a little recap or maybe are curious about my musings over the day's events um, that are not necessarily completely relevant, but just maybe off on a wild tangent. And um, yeah, my take on everything is still that, I'm out. I'm I'm psychologically vacating the space. Um, it's all too absurd. It's all too dramatic, and it's not for me. It's it's for somebody else's consumption. I've gone through all this stuff, and it's all a bunch of nonsense. And um, we all have better things to do. We all need to be getting ready to move into what you would call the golden age, whatever you might want to call it, the Aquarian age, uh, whatever you call it. We're moving into it, and you know we've defeated the globalists. It's over, in my opinion. Um, this is just mop up. What we're watching is mop up, and what we're watching is getting um, the TDS and the asleep to wake up. And so this is not, we have a different kind of waking up that needs to be done. And maybe some of this is out there too. Maybe they got a program for us. Hopefully, you know, there was something that had to do with religion out there. Um, Now I'll have to try to remember, but the basic idea though is that we've got to get ready for the new age, and if we think we're just going to move right into it as is, we are not, being realistic about it. It's it's going to require a great deal more red pilling. Some of us, I think that we've already been red pilled. We've already gotten baptized into red pilling, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more there. And speaking of baptized, that's kind of where the growth needs to occur. A lot of it. This Christianity thing is not the way that this is all going. Um, you guys have been digging on 20th century, all the false flags and the conspiracies and the psyops. But those things also occurred in ancient times. And if you do your research, you read books other than the Bible that are about the Bible, that were written back then, such as the work of Josephus, um, you'll begin to understand that Christianity is an obvious psyop. It was written by the Roman Caesars, the same people who wrote Josephus. And Josephus, his 7-volume War of the Jews, and the Gospels are meant to be read um, intertextually, you know, between one and the other. They were written by the same people at the same time for the same reason. And you can, if you get yourself a copy, you know, probably 1 out of 1,000 of you will actually follow up on this. But instead you'll say that I'm a Satan worshiper and that I have a bad agenda, or you'll try to dig up some dirt on me, but you won't go and just do the research. All you have to do is get a PDF of a free book and open it up. Look at General Titus for the Romans and his military campaign in Judea, and compare it with Jesus and his ministry in Judea, and see how many coincidences does it take before it becomes mathematically impossible. Now, just in terms of the info war and what's going on out there, to me, I just have to, uh, you know, I sound very skeptical when you're talking about the Christianity thing, but I really do believe in full control. And I believe that the boss and the 17th letter, they both want us to confront them about this um, Jesus hoax, this Jesus conspiracy, psyop. Um, they know it's not true. They're pandering to you. They know that Jesus was a psyop and that he never existed. But you don't know that. And so they're just leading you along, treating you like a child because you are a child, because you haven't dug into it yet. This should have been something that you dug into a long time ago, way before I started talking about it. And the only reason I'm talking about it is because I see the urgency and that I'm finally seeing that we're going to win. And I feel like the absurdities that we're seeing out there means that it's time to step into the next stage. Um, some people might say I'm jumping the gun. That could be true, maybe, but these videos will still be out there in a year or 2 years or whatever. So, um, you know, maybe the audience isn't going to be here for me at this point, but it'll be coming once the extent of the psyops start to get known, and once people start to look at any of the dozen or more authors that are out there that have already written books on this subject, and that's just in modern times, in the last 50 years. Um, but anyway, the psyops that we're watching out there, I really think all the little quibbling and the MAGA, dissension and the different groups and the different, some people think so and so is a bad guy and somebody else thinks so and so else is a bad guy. I'm pretty sure they're all good guys, or else at least they're being compromised and they're being forced to behave in a certain way. I don't really see any bad guys on the stage. Um, I see everybody under a certain level of control. So maybe they were bad guys, or maybe they are now, but they can't do what they really want to do, and so they have to fall in line. And so I think if you keep that in mind, you can stay away from the black pilling. But anyway, that could be completely wrong. It's just my take. I'm not trying to be dogmatic about anything. I don't want you to believe in me. I want you to believe in me enough to go do the research for yourself. You know, um, but if you disagree, once you do the research, I'd love to hear it. because, you know, I could be convinced otherwise, but what I've seen is obvious and conclusive proof that the Flavian Caesars uh, of the Romans, the Roman emperors, they're the ones who wrote the New Testament. They signed their name to it in code, um, and they created literally dozens of separate satires that are woven into the script of the New Testament between Josephus and even other works, Suetonius. Um, and there's just too much there. And it makes too much sense. The Romans, it's exactly what the Romans would do, and it's exactly what the Romans did do in other circumstances. They created a bunch of religions in the first century. We already know that. Um, so to think that they created one more is not even close to being a stretch. Okay, like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and by the way, if you want more evidence from me on that, you can check all my Bible Decode series videos, starting with maybe like number 188, I think. Um, and I should be able to provide you with, you know, evidence and sources that you can move forward with all this study. All right, like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and come back tomorrow for the next episode of the Q-Tip of the Spear. Thanks for tuning in today. Have a great day.